I don't know how many of you have tried sharpening your own chipper blades, but here's a real simple jig that simplifies the whole process. You got a piece of hardboard with a backer, nice straight edge, so all the blades fit up against that edge. The top piece that gets clamped down to a surface that makes it nice and solid. Now the key to this whole thing is a disc sander. You don't want a real coarse grit, you want about 100 grit or so, nothing too fine, but it takes the meat off of the metal quite quickly. Now if you look closely at the blade, the edge of the blade, you can see that we hit something here and it's kind of ratty. This isn't too bad, but it's just at the point where it's still moderately sharp. This over here is getting a little bit ratty, and over here is getting all beat up. What you don't want to do is wait too long on sharpening a chipper blade, because if you wait too long, then you've really got to take off a lot of metal. You got two sides, you got two sharp edges. We try to change our blades, every 2 to 4 weeks, depending upon what we're doing. Something that is important here is when you're using the rotating disc, you want it to rotate down on it. If you turn it on the side and it rotates up, you can catch the sharp edge and it'll actually dig into the cutter. So make sure it's always sharpening on the downward stroke. Okay, as you can see, it's looking pretty good. It doesn't have a real straight edge along here. This one's really good. This one's pretty beat up. This one hit something pretty bad. And this one's really good. So when you put these blades back on, you can spend a lot of time taking off a lot of metal, or you can put this one on the outside edge and this on the inside edge. And even with these little bits in here, as long as you get the majority of it down sharp, it's going to cut really well. But you want your sharpest ones out on the outside. But the difference in taking it to a shop, for me, cost me $65 to get both sides sharpened. They do an absolutely perfect job. But perfect means they take off an awful lot of metal. So if I bring it back up so I've got at least 2 really sharp edges, and in this case, hopefully it'll all be sharp. But in this case, I'm going to put these on the inside, and it'll cut just like brand new. Okay, I've got it really sharp on the bevel. Now I've got the back side, and there's some areas where the metal is actually peeled up a little bit, and I can feel a little bit of a burr. So what I want to do is I want to flatten this all the way down, being very careful not to create any kind of an angle. I want this to be dead flat all the way down. You can do that simply with the sander. Just be careful to keep it nice and flat. And also think about the rotation, because you don't want it to bend and rotate into the cut, into the sharp edge, where it'll catch the sander, and it's got a rubber disc on it. It'll pull into it and actually cut it. So you got to be really careful on this stage right here. Now you rotate it around to get the other side, and you're done. Okay, so here's what I've got. I've got the blades sharp on both sides, with the backs flattened off, and I don't know how well you can see that, but it is really sharp. Gotta be careful, they're so sharp. Not quite 100% sharp, because a clean edge all the way down would be like a knife edge. But in order to get that, a lot of these blades have got, oh, that's like a 1/16 of an inch. And to reduce this by a 1/16 of an inch over here, you end up balancing it out all the way around. And they've got to take an equal amount off from both sides so that one side is the same distance as the other. So, you know, when you're putting it all back together, you want these blades to all line up and everything be even. I can tell you that I could cut paper with this. It's really sharp, but it didn't cost me any money at the shop. I got it done. I didn't take off near as much metal as they would have taken. It extends the life of my blades, and most important, tomorrow I get it right back on first thing in the morning, and my job gets done faster and smoother.